Welcome back to College Football Addiction. Sherrone Moore, Michigan's head coach, just dropped a bombshell, something that I don't think anybody expected, but everyone has a take on, and so we're talking about it here today. A self-imposed 2-game suspension in 2025 for the sign stealing scandal. But the kicker, he's dodging the Oklahoma game, his alma mater, in week 2, and I think it's hilarious for several reasons. Let's break down the drama, the impact, and why Michigan really should take one solid stance against the NCAA. The suspension details. Moore is sitting out weeks 3 and 4 against Central Michigan and Nebraska. This isn't random at all. He's avoiding a tough week 2 matchup against Oklahoma, where he played as a guard in 2006 and 2007. Sources like ESPN confirm that he'll be barred from all activities during those weeks, plus face recruiting penalties. Now, the NCAA might still add more punishment, but Michigan's clearly trying to control the narrative and the outcome here. Why weeks 3 and 4? Well, the comedy gold is this part. Let's talk about the timing. I think it's laugh out loud funny. People on X have pointed out that these are Michigan's easier games this year. Central Michigan and Nebraska aren't exactly powerhouses, at least Nebraska anymore, while Oklahoma, picking up maybe the best quarterback and running back in the portal, in week 2 will be a huge test. Moore gets to coach against his old school and then takes a punishment break during the cupcake games. It's like grounding yourself, but only for the days that you didn't want to go out anyway. Strategic? Yes. Shameless? Also, yes. Now, this all ties back to the Connor Stalions scandal. Stalions, a former Michigan staffer, allegedly ran an elaborate sign-stealing operation, scouting opponents in person and recording signals. A big NCAA no-no. Moore got caught up for deleting 52 texts with Stalions the day the scandal broke in October of 23. ESPN reports that those texts were covered via device imaging, and now Moore's facing a level 2 violation. This isn't Michigan's first rodeo. Former coach Jim Harbaugh was suspended for 3 games in 2024 for the same mess. Now, Michigan's no stranger to the NCAA drama. I'll talk more about that in a moment, but first I do want to give some love to our friends over at Emerald Medical. If you're feeling tired, sluggish, or just not yourself, it could very well be low testosterone. At Emerald Medical, they are there to help you reclaim your energy and vitality with testosterone replacement therapy. You can use code CFA, that's College Football Addiction, and you'll save money and get a free consultation to start your journey. They are proud college football fans just like you, and their owner, Chris, will connect with folks like you offering personal care that you can trust. You can call them at 772-307-9840 or visit Emerald HRT today to schedule your free consultation and get back to feeling like the real you. Folks on X have noted that 2 Michigan head coaches have been suspended 5 times in just a year and a half, from Harbaugh's 24 suspension to Moore's 23 one-game ban for recruiting violations during the COVID-19 dead period. The Wolverines can't seem to stay out of trouble. The NCAA also slapped Michigan with a level 1 violation for a pattern of non-compliance, accusing them of instructing the investigations. Now, the suspensions could hurt Michigan's momentum. Weeks 3 and 4 might be easier games, but any absence of a head coach risks team cohesion. Moore won't even be allowed to practice with the team, unlike Harbaugh's 23 suspension, where he could still run practices. Plus, the recruiting penalties could certainly limit Michigan's ability to attract top talent, already a challenge with a scandal lingering. Fans are frustrated on social media, calling it pathetic that Michigan seems to skate by despite what he calls the dirtiest national championship in history. Folks are certainly not holding back at all, talking about the absurdity of Moore getting to pick his own suspension, while others have sarcastically remarked that Michigan is cheating again. The broader trend shows a heated debate. A self-imposed sanction like this looks more like a PR stunt than a real punishment. Critics will argue that it undermines the NCAA's authority. Why would you let a coach cherry pick a penalty? It's like letting a kid choose their own timeout. Here's the thing, though. The NCAA looks toothless if they accept this. An old Bleacher Report article that I read highlighted that only 1 of 11 appeals against the NCAA sanctions was upheld since 2008, pointing to a broken system. Michigan's AD in March of 2025 even said that he hasn't heard of any postseason bans per CBS Sports. The NCAA's rules, like banning an in-person scouting, feel outdated in today's tech-driven game. Michigan's contract with Moore, per Bleacher Report, even protects him from being fired over this scandal. So why bother with the NCAA at all? Here's what I think Michigan should do. They should just ignore the NCAA. It's a powerless entity. That means nothing in the grand scheme. The Wolverines are going to keep winning the national title in 2024. Nothing's going to happen to that, despite the scandals. Self-imposed penalties are just a game to avoid real consequences, and the NCAA can't seem to enforce anything meaningful. So Michigan, keep doing you. It's working. Don't self-impose penalties. Just ignore them when they come down. Michigan and the Big Ten have already formally worked through this. I can't imagine the conference does anything else. And so why are we still giving the NCAA any space at all to make any kind of rulings? They don't control the playoff. They don't control postseason. And pretty soon they won't even control college football in the slightest. So while I think it's hilarious that Moore picked 2 games that were not against Oklahoma for his suspension, I don't think that's even necessary. Just coached all 12 games. Move on from this and tell the NCAA to get lost. I'd love to hear your thoughts down in the comments. What do you think about Moore's picks? And what do you think about Michigan just throwing a middle finger up to the NCAA and saying, we're not really that concerned with what you have to say? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments here on College Football Addiction.